following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the continuation of the regional finals here, the straight 16 if you will, in the fourth tournament of 2025 for MRE Uno. We are in Jackpot June, and we're getting a lot figured out here in terms of who is moving on to the round of 8. We continue that here in the Hearts region as we set up for a 4 versus 8 seed matchup, as we've got one-time Tapir taking on the rookie of T4, Background. Now, this may look like a bit of a mixed match coming into this one. Tapir has made it into the round of 16 6 different times in the past, including 3 straight here in 2025. However, for Background, it is his first ever appearance in the round of 16. That being said, however, we look at a lot of the matchups we've had so far here in the round of 16, and on paper it may not look like it's going to be all that competitive, but boy, oh boy, it has definitely been anything but. It has been tooth and nail grinded out. We've had some near reverse sweeps here in the last 24 hours, and we can't wait to see what the next chapter is going to be here in Jackpot June. Let's take a look here at the resume of both of these individuals coming in, and when you look at their round of 16 record, obviously, first appearance here for Background, a 2-2 for Tapir. The record this tournament, very similar, with 8-4 for Background, 8-5 there for Tapir, and as you can see, for Tapir, he was, of course, a tournament winner back in 2024, so he's been to the top of the mountain looking to get there here in Jackpot June. Coming into this, the bracket looks as follows. Waiting in the wings is Toaster Guy. He gets the victor of this series here today. After yesterday, he was able to defeat Lara in a 5-3 victory. It'll either be a 3 versus 8 or a 3 versus 4 when we get to this established 8 here in the Hearts region. And this is going to be the only streamed game here today, as later on we're going to have Nam taking on Brian in the Spades region at 2. And then an hour later at 3 in the Clubs region, it is Caesar taking on Yoshi. So a trio of games to be played here today. And again, as mentioned, this is going to be the only one that will be streamed here this morning. Let's go down here to the table. We've got Nam as our referee. We've got Tapir. We've got Background. They're ready to go. Tapir, you've made it into the round of 16 here now for the third straight time in 2025. So you've been here before. You've got the veteran experience. You've got the legend status. What do we do here today? How, with the experience you've had here in the last 2 tournaments and advancing this far into each one of these tournaments, how much do you rely on that veteran experience here now in preparation for no longer a best of 7 as we had in the round of 64 and the round of 32, but now in the round of 16? And kind of the same deal here, Background, kind of question for you. Your first appearance in the round of 16. You've never dealt with a best of 9 series before. This is going to be a test of endurance for you. You've obviously been very strong here in the round of 64 and the round of 32, defeating a number 1 seed. What's it going to take here to be able to prepare yourself for the endurance of what's going to be a best of 9? Let Tapir, I
I'd
believe
say very
Tapir's
simple.
answering vocally, and we'll let background type out his answer as Tapir answers.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and get that done while he's typing there. Yeah, very simple. We win. That's it. It's going to be, I think you said it very tactfully there. It's going to be a matter of endurance and just stamina here. Obviously, best of 9. A lot different than a best of 7. No extra games.
I mentioned about the fact that
Can this morning, but here. Sorry?
I think you're lagging a little bit there. I thought you had stopped talking. My bad.
Oh, no, it's all right. No, all I was gonna say is for heater and do all he can to get it. So I'm excited for this match, and I'm eager to get it started.
And background says, honestly, just keep playing the game. Glad Tapir is winning because scheduling with Toasty next would have been annoying. Background, you can't concede the series just like that. But nonetheless, going to be a competitive matchup here
That's
to
how he
be
gets the
sure.
sweep.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's preempting it right there. He's doing the reverse psychology. I don't know if reverse psychology works on a bot, but I guess we'll wait and find out here. As for those again that are not familiar, if you were tuning into our round of 64, our round of 32 here in Jackpot June, this is indeed it worked with Nick. All right, so he's dialing it back. But obviously that was a best of 7. This is a best of 9. So the first player that ends up getting to 5 victories will end up taking the series. Only one power play to work with, and it can be crucial. We ended up seeing just a couple of days ago, we saw Pac Johnson used a power play in Game 2, wasn't able to rely on it in a pivotal Game 9, and was the last of our number 1 seeds here of these respective regions to fall. No number 1 seed is going to advance any further than the round of 16. So we'll see how this one works out here. I'm glad background is winning because versus New Zealand would be even worse. Yeah, we got ourselves a Michigan versus Wales matchup in this one here this morning. All right, let's not waste any time. Tapir is the highest seed, so he'll have the first 2 homestands. Next 2 homestands will go to background. Then 2 more homestands to Tapir. 2 more to background should we need them, and then Tapir gets the final call if we reach Game 9. Nam's already initiated the game. Tapir, ball is in your court. Floor is completely open. How are we kicking this series off?
Well, we both got our start in UUL, and UUL only does 7, so we're trying that starting off.
Kick it off with the classic 7 card start. And let's get this thing going here. Tapir versus background. Legend versus rookie. The only rookie to advance here into the round of 16. So background will take that
Dang it!
class
I
accolade.
forgot. I totally forgot. I was gonna predict before we started this match that we were gonna get a wild start on some game.
Ah,
I
well, there you go. And
can't.
right on cue. Wild start, and we will draw
Amen.
off of it on both sides. Tapir going to initiate the color in red. Background will follow him with it. And we'll come back to red here with background, and Tapir iced out in said color. And he'll get bailed out. Background over with the blue 9. Little double play there from Tapir. Tapir down to 5. Answer back with the double play. Now background down to 3. And Tapir iced out in the blue once again. At 3 cards, can background play? Yes, he can. Light switches over to green. Down to 2. Tapir, maybe with an answer back here as we cycle into a 3rd color. And he will answer with the +2. And ends with the Arya. Arya moving on after a good battle with Brad yesterday. Background plays it cool. Tapir trying to even it up at 3. Maybe get down to check. Maybe have a finish. Nope, not it at 3. Advantage currently to background. Looking to get back down to 2. Does indeed. Tapir will look to follow him there. Knotted at 2 apiece. Oh, wow. Is this the finish? Yes, it is. Look at that. Finds the +2 into the double reverse to close the game out. And just like that, less than 2.5 minutes into this series, Tapir up 1-0. Well, Tapir, we talk an awful lot about, the luck factor here in the round of 16. Was some of those connectors off the top deck draw, or was that some stuff you were holding and we're just kind of trying to find some cards to be able to get over to the colors that you needed to be able to utilize that ammunition?
Yeah, I had almost all of that from the start. I think I picked up one of the green right off the top, off of the wild. And then after that, it was just a matter of time to get down to the green and the yellow. Thanks. So,
Yeah, background, we saw you get hit with that +2 and you were down to 2 cards. Did you have a finish there at the end and the +2 kind of foiled the game plan there? Also checking too, looks like, let's see, 1 skip. Yeah, not a whole lot. Didn't look like a whole lot of ammo there for your background. Yeah, a lot. There it is. Yeah, a lot of 9s. Wow, look at that. 4 9s, 4 of a kind. First +2 gave a green 8 and a green 9. Okay, so yeah, just working with numbers there. Not a lot of ammunition to utilize, just the blue skip. So yeah. Well, we end up talking with people a lot of times. They say, I'm okay with giving up that first game in a best of 7. I remember I was talking with Short about it yesterday, and he said even in a best of 9, maybe don't mind as much losing that first game as long as you're able to knot it back up 1-1, which is what background will look to do. He'll have to do it on the road, though, as we'll now head into that second game. Second homestand call here for Tapir, up 1-0. Tapir, no 7. What are we looking for game 2?
it's very simple. We're going to go ahead and chant here. It's the best of 9. I see 4 9s on the board. We're going 9.
Lots of 9s. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Here we go. 5 9s, actually. All right. So gonna be keeping with the odd number theme, at least for the moment here, as 2 up from the initial start to 9. Upside down 9 there with the blue M and 6. Nobody is allowed to play a blue 9, apparently. Double play from Tapir. And background will also double play with the skip into the blue 3. And Tapir immediately iced out on the blue. Background able to continue to run in the blue there with the blue 1. Tapir finds an out. He'll swap over into green, and background says not so fast. He'll bring it over into yellow. Tapir will follow with the yellow 8. 0 sugar for background. And a light switch off the 0. That's very rare, as Tapir will bring it over into red. So now all 4 colors have been utilized. Maybe Pandora's box here in the red, as background will play his own card. Tapir iced in the red. Background at 3 cards. Tapir says he played his own card. I'm cooked. Well, now background plays Tapir's own card there with the red 4. Play my card. I'm also cooked. Says Tapir. Down at 2, looking for check as background. Finds check. Whoa! Almost didn't get the Uno call in there. Can Tapir get a light switch here off the 7? Could he have top decked something to draw background away from the brink of tying this up 1-1? Does background have a finish here in red? Oh, Tapir's swapping it over to green, but he feels that background may have been fading green. Let's see if he's correct. Background to tie it up. No, iced out in green. We'll have to draw back. Great play there from Tapir. Tapir at 6. Opportunity here to run in some green. Maybe draw it back even. Oh, he will draw it back even and then some now as he'll hit 2 freshies on background. Knotted at 4 each here. Light switch over to yellow from background, though, with the bow tie, too. Tapir ties it back up at 3, but now he'll take the advantage, and nope, no longer. They'll actually both have to draw back here in the yellow, and now we'll enter into a draw city. How far back do we draw is the question. We haven't run very much in yellow. Only both the 8s, a 0, 1, and a 2 have been played, but depleted in yellow in both these hands, and now looking for a top deck as we're knotted at 8, about to be maybe right back where we started from, knotted at 9. No, instead, plays a card and draws, leaving it open on the reverse, does Tapir. At least gains the 1 card advantage right now here in this draw city. Tapir finds a top deck there with the yellow 3. Let's see if that's going to be a card that one of them will be able to utilize for a light switch. Indeed, that is the case. Over into blue from background. And Tapir will now light switch it into green. So it trips 3. 1 down by background into the 2. And Tapir follows with the 8. Now it's the numbers game here, trying to whittle the hands back down after a rather lengthy stay in draw city. Stuck in the yellow. 1 up from background to the 9. And then upside down, flip it upside down to the green 6 for Tapir. Little ditto play there from background, doubles on the 6. Yes. Ooh, trips play there. Double skip. Gets the light switch over into blue. Tapir down at 2 cards. On the brink here of at least check, maybe a close to take a 2-0 advantage here on his first 2 homestands. Background. Does he play a little defensive here and try and draw him back? He'll do exactly that, as he'll play the +2, bring it over into green once again. And ices out Tapir. Now background looking to take the 1 card advantage here with the play. He'll do more than that. Is this maybe a finish? This is going to be a finish. Got it over to green, the +2 to the skip, the double reverse, and ends on the Tapir red 4. Background knots it up 1 apiece. The ammo that was depleted back in game 1, he got here in game 2. Background, I got to ask though, was a lot of that stuff you were kind of holding on to, or did you kind of get a lot of that on the drawback? And background asking if he didn't do the first +2. Oh, Tapir had red. That was going to actually be my question there as well for you, Tapir, because, yeah, it was kind of the same deal as what we saw earlier in that first game when background was down to 2 cards. You end up hitting him with the +2, and was wondering if it was the same deal here, if you had a finish there. All of it was on the draws, started with 1 blue skip and 8 numbers. So basically the exact same hand that you had before, because I'm pretty sure that a blue skip was the only ammo card you had back on the 7 card start as well. Wouldn't have mattered if it did red first, I don't think. Still goes green. Low power until it kept drawing them from the Uno City. Yeah, and we've seen that before. We've seen a lot of people end up getting luck on those draws there in the draw city, getting that ammunition necessary, and apparently that was the case here in game 2. So I wouldn't say a crucial game 2 victory there for background, but certainly important to knot it up 1-1 rather than going into his first homestand in a 2-0 deficit. So background, you've got the call here in game 3 on these next 2 homestands. 9 is the only number not available on the board. Everything else is open. What are we looking for? All right, so we're going to hit double digits for the first time here in this series, as we'll go an even dozen. And we'll start this thing off with the color that both were rather depleted in, that got us into the draw city in that second game, in the yellow with the 3. And background will jump up 2 to the 5. Again, folks, that's the only streamed game here today. There will be action later on this afternoon, as 7-seed Nam takes on 14-seed Brian in the Spades region at 2 p.m. Eastern. An hour later at 3 p.m. Eastern in the Clubs region, it's the 5-seed Julio Caesar versus the 8-seed Yoshi. As we are fast winding down this round of 16 and establishing, pun intended, who the Elite 8 will be in the established 8, as iced out in the blue is background. Tapir with the advantage here, going to continue to be able to run in the blue. And there we go, green 7. I don't know what color would F be? Fuchsia? The Fuchsia 7? I know in Uno Flip there's a purple card, so I guess that'd be considered fuchsia. As the +2 into the LaPlante 5 by Tapir. Double play there, and background will play it cool after the 2 freshies. Tapir with a 4-card advantage, but now that double play, apparently his last green, he's iced out. And background going to be able to run in green as he doubles off the 3 into the 6. Tapir finds an out with the M blue. And background now iced out in blue. Tapir finds his color, now to the 8. Background maybe looking for a light switch here off the 8, or is he still iced out in blue? He is still iced out. And now Tapir going to play background zone card. May bail him out here into the red. And background says thank you very much. Doubles with the +2, and now he will draw Tapir back a bit. Tapir, though, going to play it cool with the red 3 down to 5 cards. And background with the yellow 3, the card that we started this game off with. Doubles up does Tapir into the yellow 6. And another +2 shot from background. Trips with the skip into the 0 sugar drip Now takes a 1-card advantage here after the +2. 5 cards for background, 6 for Tapir. We've had a lot of +2s played so far, 3 of them in total here in this game. One thing I don't believe have had played, let me double check. No, wow, this is kind of reminding me quite a bit of the early stages of the game that we had yesterday between Pac Johnson and Varigold, where the first few games there was not a single +4 wild that was played. We are nil. We are drought spelled on the +4s, at least here so far in the early going of this series. As iced out in the yellow was Tapir. Background will maybe bail him out as he'll light switch over into the green. And there it is, right on cue. There is the first +4 of the entire series as Tapir into the red with his own card. A 4 with a plus in front of it, and then a regular 4. 4 freshies head over to Tapir, and Tapir will ditto play the Tapir red as he'll knot it back up at 6 cards each. And Tapir iced out. Background half off to the red 2. And Tapir top decks into a ditto play. Background now with the swap over into yellow. Background at 4, Tapir at 6. Looking to try and at least draw back even here is Tapir. He'll get down to 5 with the yellow 6 play. Background 1 up. Now down to 3. And Tapir iced out in the yellow. So Tapir, well, doesn't matter. This might be the finish. Finds the blue skip on the Uno, and that's the finish. Wow. Well, no +4s in the first 2 games. We see 2 of them here, 1 on either side. In game 3, big finish there with the +4 into the skip into the 2 for background, and he will take a 2-0 advantage now in this series with 1 more home game coming up. Background, again, kind of similar to what we saw back in game 2. How much of that were you holding on to? And how much did you end up getting on the draw cities there? Specifically, the +4, and kind of the same question there for you, Tapir, because, you know, as mentioned, it was kind of odd that we had 2 games already and had gone into that lengthy draw city back in game 2, but didn't see a single +4. Did you get that +4 on the initial start and just kind of were waiting for the right time to be able to utilize it, or was that something you ended up getting on a draw?
Yeah, I had that from the draw, but the problem was I had too many colors and I just kept drawing bad colors off draw city and I couldn't really get back to the numbers I needed, colors I needed. So his 1+2 changed the entire trajectory of the game, so goes to show you that 1 card can always make the difference.
We've seen that many, many, many times here in series here in this tournament and in previous tournaments as well. Background says got the +4 and both +2s in his starting hand. Had a lot of 7s. We've seen that as well. I don't know if it's just that we put more emphasis on it now because we're in Jackpot June. We got the whole casino theme, poker hands, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's happened before here in previous tournaments and in previous years, but I feel like we put a lot more emphasis on it just with the theming of Jackpot June. We've had a lot of people that have had a lot of poker hands here and been able to utilize that for aggressive light switching, which we've seen in the early going of this series as well. So a 2-1 advantage now here for background, and he's got the next homestand. It happened a lot to me in my 3 games, especially against Tago. Yeah, I think it was Pac Johnson yesterday. I think there was, in the 9 games, I think there were 5 games where he ended up having triple of a certain number, and we constantly saw him utilizing that for light switches. So it seems like everybody seems to be getting hit with those type of things here in Jackpot June. But let's now get to game 4. No 9, no 12 background, but on your next homestand, what are we looking for here for game 4? And we're going to go 1 up here into lucky and or unlucky number 13, depending on your situation in terms of your numerology luck. And how about that? We're going right back to where we started in game 3. We'll kick things off with the yellow 3. Tapir looking to tie this thing back up 2-2. So far, a win on the road, a win at home for background, and Tapir with a win at home, looking for a win on the road to knot this series back up. As background with the 0 sugar right out of the gate, bottom floor, up to the top floor, to the roof goes Tapir with the yellow 9, and background with the yellow 6. Tapir with the yellow 8, gonna ice out background. And both iced out in yellow in the early going here is top deck draw there from background with the yellow 2. See if that will open up the door maybe for a light switch. Get these 2 out of yellow, of which they are obviously depleted. Tapir, no, same for background. We're still stuck in the yellow, continuing to draw. And a ditto, a top deck ditto play there for Tapir. Don't think that's going to change the situation. We're more than likely still going to be... Nope, it does change the situation. Tapir going to find an out there as he light switches into red. Finally breaking out of yellow into a second color here. And now we're going to run for a while. Let's see how long before the light switch potentially over into either green or blue. Ditto play from background with the red 7. Tapir with his own card there in the red 4. And into the sand for red 6 for background. Tapir now iced out. And a ditto play there from background to keep him iced. Do we see a light switch here from background? If we do, that's going to be another poker hand there with a lot of 6s. Let's see. Or is he just able to continue to run in red? He does find the light switch, so a lot of 6s in the hand there for background again. Over into the blue. Tapir brings it down to the blue 1. Oh, there's the pun. Took us a while, but there's the pun. The in before I lose with the blue 4 from background. And Tapir will go down 1 to the blue 3. Now both individuals at single digits after a 13 card start. And a somewhat lengthy stay in Draw City in the yellow. Double play there from background. Now down to 5 cards. Tapir gonna follow with the blue 2. Plays it cool. Oh, background with the utilization of the green wild. So Pandora's box has been opened. The 4th and final color initiated. Tapir got to be thinking that maybe, just maybe, there could be a finish here. Does he play a defensive card to keep background from potentially having a 4-card run to the end here? And he'll find the light switch with the double reverse. Brings it back to blue with the JT5. 1 card back now. Let's see if background can find a way back to green. This may end, if he has a +4, this may flush out the +4. He used the wild to get over to green. Does he have to use a +4 to get there? That's indeed what he's going to have to do. So the +4 is flushed. Brings it back over to green. Tapir now put back to 9 cards. Background down to 2. And now with 4 freshies, let's see what options Tapir gets here on the return. Can he find a way to maybe get it back to blue or maybe back to another color? Ice out background, we'll have to see here. And he does find it back to blue. He'll go into the draw after the double skip, but he at least gets it over to the color that's going to ice out background. And now we're going to draw for a bit, as we're capped off here on the blue skip. Great defensive play there from Tapir. Could have very easily there, as background was continually trying to get it back to green. Might have had a finish, and the pun is back again. Doubled up for Tapir from the blue 4 into the blue 8. And now Tapir, he'll play into the green now with the light switch, with background up to 5 cards. Background going to answer with the +2 double play into the 0 sugar and green. Tapir put back to double digits at 10. Plays it cool though. 1 up there into the Aria, green 1. Background all the way to the top floor with the 9. Down to 2 cards. He's still looking to close out in green, or did that draw back maybe put him into a different color there? We ended up having a long draw city in yellow. Do we maybe try and get back to yellow? Do we try and get back to red? We've run in green and blue for the most part here in the latter half here. Is look at this little self-ditto there from background with the green 9. He's down to check. Tapir, what does he do? He gurs. I thought KT had the tiger. What does background have to end off here? Is it in green? Does he still have the finish in green? Or is there an outlying color here for his final card? Tapir with 8. Gotta make a choice here. I'm not a prophet, but if I had to predict, I would say that more than likely it's not a finish in green. I would assume it's a finish maybe in, I don't know, maybe yellow? Either yellow or red. I'm going to say yellow, because we were iced out in yellow, or it always seems to come back to whatever we were iced in scenarios like this. Let's see what Tapir does. Tapir agrees. He says there's no way you have green. Let's see. No, he does not. We're going to have to see if I was right. We're going to have to see if I predicted that correctly, if it was yellow. Oh, we might get an answer here. Tapir going to make the switch over into yellow. There's the check with the 4. Question is, was that the outlying card or was that a top deck draw? And there's the initial over to yellow for Tapir, getting to his +2. Double play, draws him back to 3 cards, does Tapir. Background will continue to run in yellow, however, down to 2. Did Tapir maybe find himself a path to be able to finish? There's the draw from background. Tapir down to 3. Maybe a finish here. He was able to get it over to yellow. Let's see. Does he have a 3-card finish to knot this back up 2-2? Or can he at least just get it down to 2? Oh, he brings it back over to green. Wow. Oh, and then the reverse draw play there from background. Can Tapir play off of that reverse? Close this out. Or does he cap it off to get the check? He's got the +4. He's got the +4. Ends it out in red. And this series is tied 2 apiece. All right, back round. Let's see how much of a genius I am. What was the outlying card? Was it one of those? Was that yellow 4, that yellow 1? Was it in yellow? It was the yellow 4. I knew it. I knew it. We've seen so many times when people go into Draw City in the early game that there always seems to be that one card in that said color at the end. So there you go. That one outlying card, the yellow 4, and not able to close it out after being down there at check. Tapir, some good defensive plays there as he got down to obviously the check, but also down there to around 2. You ended up getting that +4 to bail you out in the closing stages, though. You also had a wild there to bring it over to green. I'm assuming that a couple of those were off the draw, which the draw the last couple of times has not been your friend. Looks like the luck turned around here in Game 4.
Well, as I'm going to send here in just a second, both wilds came off of that +2 there.
Oh, wow.
So that was an insanely lucky draw there with the +2. But the reason I was stressing is because I was contemplating playing that +4 because it's possible that he had the finish in green, but I'm thinking percentage Uno, right? Like we had just drawn in Draw City, and then we play green. We're still in green. He's playing green. What are the chances he still has green? And I
Yeah.
decided that it's just the odds are too great for him to have any other color, or that he just has a wild to finish. But I did end up going to the yellow, and that's what gave me the break to keep going and run the yellows clean. And then I gave him the +2. So that switch into yellow changed the entire trajectory of the game. And I think it's interesting that a lot of times that's what you kind of have to make those gambles on. I'm happy to get the win there, happy to tie it back up. And effective best of 5 here. So I'll be excited to take back the homestand to start that off.
And you will get the next 2 homestands here. That was our longest game so far of the series, just a tick under 9 minutes in length. And you got the unlucky there, both wilds off the +2. Again, I know I keep talking about it, but it was an incredible series yesterday with Varigold versus Pac Johnson. And I remember that there was a quad +2 to finish out the game, and 2 of the +2s on that run were actually given to the player off of a +2. So we've seen it before. We've seen where the ammo can happen even on a +2 return, and obviously that was the case here for Tapir to be able to knot this thing back up 2-2. Gets the next 2 homestands here in a pendulum swinging Game 5, I guess we could say. Tapir, all you've got that you can't choose are 7 and 13. What are we looking at here for Game 5?
Game 5, let's do 5. Let's go gambling.
Wow, all right, so we are gambling for sure. 5 for 5. Lowest card start we can get here. We are relying on number efficiency, and look at this. Wow. +2 in the blue to kick things off. Very rarely, it has happened, but very rarely do we see a plan A with a 5-card start. Back in the round of 32, we saw it happen in a series, not once, but twice. Let's see if maybe we could see it happen here in this series, as drawing immediately off the +2 is Tapir. And background will do the same. So, nope, will not be a plan A for either one. We'll see how long we draw back here looking for ammo, as we'll cap off that +2 with the blue 3 does background. Tapir still iced. Light switch by background into the yellow 3. We've seen that card quite a bit here today. It started 2 of our previous 4 games, and now Tapir will run in the yellow as well. All the way up to the top floor with the Acosta 9. Goes background. And a little double play there from Tapir. Self-ditto by background. And Tapir iced out. Background at 2. And he's iced as well. So we're depleted of blue. We're depleted of yellow. Well, there's a top deck for Tapir. No light switch available for background. Can Tapir light switch off of his own too? Nope, cannot do it. And now we'll continue to draw back once again here. Looking for a top deck lucky draw. We've run in blue, we've run in yellow. We still have yet to go into green and red, but we got to find a path to get to those colors first. And there is an avenue to get to red with the light switch on the 2. And Tapir says, thank you very much. Opened up that red for him to play the double skip, trips play into blue. Background plays it cool with the blue M. Tapir looking to knot this up at 6 cards each. No, he'll do more than that. He'll take the advantage as he hits the +2, doubles into the blue 8. So now he's down to 5, brings background up to 8. And background with a ditto play. Wild utilized into the green here for Tapir. Down at 4. Background will play it cool. 1 up for Tapir. Does he have the finish in green? Another up there for background who says GG. Tapir down to the 0 sugar. Hard to light switch off of. Nothing background can do, can only run in numbers. Is this the finish here? No, it's not a finish. Instead, plays the green 4 at check. Background can only run in numbers, still in green, and there is the ditto play to close it out. All numbers down there at the end, both having to run in green. No ammo cards to be able to utilize there in the closing stages of this one. Very rare that we end up seeing it close out that lengthy in an amount of color with just numbers. Right after the wild was played there by Tapir, it was all green right to the end, all numbers. I mean, Tapir, obviously, it came down to the utilization of that wild for color establishment there down the home stretch, but you had to think at some point that maybe, just maybe, there was going to be a card played that was going to draw you back. We've kind of seen both of you be able to utilize the defensive play here in the closing stages.
Yeah, so once we were both at 2 and we both drew, I knew that the +4 was out of play. I ruled out the +2 just on basically a feeling. I didn't think he had one that was able to be played. I had mostly green and yellow. Like, I was at 2 color at the start. And so then I drew 3 blue in a row, and I'm like, what am I going to do with these? And then I did have a blue skip, so when I drew the red skip, I knew I could use that to get to the blue. Then he did go to the red there around the middle with that red 2, so I just immediately with red that time. And then he went blue 6, blue +2. I didn't do there, so I just figured, okay, at this point, I have a ditto, I have a 0 sugar, so at that point, maybe I'll just run the green, excuse me, and hopefully it worked out. So took the lead here, happy to do so. Hopefully I'll get another one come game 6.
And as we see right there from background, said if he had gone with the 7 first, then the 4, he could have light switched off of it. But we talk about, too, the timing of the play of cards in terms of the numbers. The timing obviously working out there, as Tapir going to now take a 3-2 advantage. Now, if this were a round of 64 or a round of 32, we'd be talking about him being 1 win away from the brink of winning the series. But this is a best of 9, not a best of 7. So still 2 more victories still to get here for Tapir to be able to take this series, and plenty of opportunity still here as well for background to be able to tie this series back up. But he'll have to do so on the road. So Tapir, no 5. The gamble worked out for you there on the low card start. Also no 7, no 13. So we're kind of all over the place in options. What are we looking at here?
Let's do a nice mid-tier. How about an even 10?
Okay, so we've been all over the place here. 5, 7, 9, now 10, 12, and 13 been our starts here in these first 6 games. Right in the middle, so kind of half and half in terms of relying on number efficiency and maybe getting that 1 or 2 ammunition cards that you need. We'll see how the bot distributes it out here on both sides, as we will kick things off in blue. First time I believe that we've started in blue with a non-action card. I believe the last time we started in blue was a +2, so we're gonna play it cool in blue here to start off game number 6. As we take a look at the stats here as well, fairly even. 2 wilds each, 2 wild +4s each. Slight advantage there for Tapir on the reverses and the skips, and then fairly even on the +2s. And look at the light switching that's going on here as well. 37 times between the two of them that we've had light switching here in the first 5 games. So here we go. Gonna run in blue. Question is, for how long? Okay, 38 times. Sorry, 39 times. I'll keep a live tab here on the light switches. Oh, and iced out in the blue there is Tapir after background with the trip 6 brings it back. Tapir finds a top deck though with the blue 7. Background still able to run in blue there with the Jesse Turner blue 5, and there's the light switch into red with the DJ Kurtis. I'm telling you, Tapir, I said this back in the gold Pac Johnson game. They had light switches galore too. I'm not paying the electric bill. Talk to KT. That's his job. Oh my gosh, the light switching is off the charts as we're now into the green. And iced out in green is background. 5 cards left. Let's see what Tapir can do here. After the initial over into said color. Well, let's see. Is it a 5-card finish to go up 4-2? No, just a double play. +2 into the 3. Draws background further into double digits. Background going to play it cool here. Tapir down to 3. Again, we have to remember as well. Oh, Tapir iced out. We have to remember as well. Both players have a power play here. I know that it's a best of 9. But we've seen players utilize a power play even as early as game 2 here in this round of 16. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that either one could be considering the power play dependent on what they've got here down the home stretch. But drawing back still is Tapir. Background with the green 1, still iced out as Tapir, and we're going to go into draw city here for a bit in the green. I believe it was game 2 where we were iced out in green. Top deck there for Tapir with the green 6. Does that open up options for a light switch? Does not for background. Let's see if Tapir can play off the 6. Apparently he can, because there's the say that against. Is that just copy and pasted now, Tapir? I feel like it is. No, are you sure? We're into the yellow now. Trips play here by Tapir. The reverse skip meta into the 3. Now down to 3 cards. Nothing background can do. Continues to run in the yellow. And Tapir iced out. Background with the light switch into red. Does that bail out Tapir? Could very well have. Tapir gonna run in it. Does background have anything in red here? He made the swap over to said color. Could he be looking maybe to utilize a +2 or something like that? No, instead he'll go to the 0 sugar. And Tapir will play his own card there. Down to 2. 1 away from check, 2 away from a victory. Nothing that background can do. Half off special into the red 2. Tapir looking for check, maybe for the victory to go up 4-2. Background calls GG. Tapir down to check. Didn't call the Uno, though. He's got to get the Uno called. Oh, and he didn't call it. The call out there by background. And Tapir says, thanks for the +4. Uh-oh. Background with the blue wild. Tapir gonna play in blue. Did he really get the +4 there on that call out? No, apparently not. That would have been crazy. Iced out in the blue now. Background trying to get back even here, as he's been anywhere from a 3 to 6 card deficit this entire game. He's going to tie it up, knot it up at 5 cards each, with Tapir still iced out in blue. Finds the light switch over into yellow, though, does Tapir. And that ices out background. So Tapir back in control once again. Down 2 to the yellow 6. Can background find a switch off of that? No, he cannot. Still has to draw. Tapir still in control. Brings it back up to the yellow 8. Continuing to whittle the hand down here. Tapir now down to 2 cards. Does he find the finish here? Or does he bring it down to check for a second time? Hopefully if he gets to check this time, he calls the Uno. Oh, and there's the power play. Power play here, probably looking for a number efficiency to close this out. No, instead, 2 greens. He finds the number efficiency off the power play. The yellow 8 to the green 8. Closes it out with the Aria 1. And he will now go up 4-2, winning the last 3 games here. And the last 2 games at home. As background says, his hands have been so bad. Almost a costly mistake for you there, Tapir, in not calling out the Uno. Or was that a case where you didn't want to call out the Uno because you didn't have a finish, so you figured, let's see what happens on what I end up getting on the kickback there with the call out?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have a red. I just he said that, so happy to use 3 in a situation where it's a best of 9. So only have to win one of the next 3.
Background, obviously, you said that the hands have just been so bad here, and obviously not had a lot of ammo to be able to work with. You had to utilize there with numbers. I mentioned about the fact, beginning of this one, this is the first time you've been in a round of 16, first time you've had to deal with a best of 9. If we had gotten to this point here in a best of 7, Tapir would be moving on, but you've still got life with the fact that we've got potentially 3 more games. So what does that do for the mindset here? Obviously you're looking for your luck to turn, but there is still some breathing space, still some games to be played where maybe your luck can turn around. How does that kind of that mentality, how is it different from approaching a round of 7, which you've been in, obviously this time your first appearance in a round of 9? And also, too, if you can answer this as well, how important for you in the fact that now the power play is flushed on the other side, and you're the only one with a power play here. How does that help you in terms of feeling maybe a bit of an advantage here in the upcoming games? You have to remember here as well as we'll wait for background's answer. He's got the next 2 homestands, so he's got the next 2 calls. on card start. Should we get to a game 9, then Tapir would have the final call. Glad he wasted his power play. We'll see what happens. Kind of accepting the loss already, to be honest. Last time I played Tapir in D2, he used his power play early and still got terrible hands, so he won anyway. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see if the fortunes turn here. As Tapir said, just has to win one game here in the next 3. But Background is going to have the next 2 homestands. He'll have the next 2 calls. So Background, no 9 and no 12. Still a lot of options out there. What are we doing here for a crucial Game 7? And this is indeed going to be a must-win, going 14 again here for Background. This is going to be a must-win scenario for Background. Tapir only 1 win away from taking this series. Again, the winner of this one will move on and face Toaster Guy, who yesterday beat Lara in a 5-3 victory here in the Hearts region. We'll kick things off with the yellow 8, 14 card start. And for Background, as Tapir said, needs to be a 3-game sweep here to close it out. And immediately we light switch off of the yellow into the red. Background will go down 1 to the red 2. We're going to run in numbers quite a bit here, I feel, in the early going of this one. Well, I say that, and immediately a shot from Background with the +2. Trying to put the pressure on, trying to keep on the offensive is Background, as Tapir will play it cool into the red 9. 1 down into the red 8. Background with his own card. And Tapir iced out in the early going on the red. Background going to keep the pedal to the metal. Let's see if he continues to run in red. Does he maybe bail out? Nope, he'll stay in red with the DJ Kurtis 5. And Tapir will find the bail into the yellow with the light switch. And Background says not so fast. He'll bring it back to red to ice Tapir out once again. Background with the red 4. So Tapir again looking for light switch opportunities off the numbers. Can't do it here off of his own card. And now Background will make the light switch himself, as he'll go into the green. And there's the light switch with the double reverse. The green to the yellow, into the yellow 1, and that's going to ice out Background. Now Tapir going to continue to run. Background finds a top deck, though, with the yellow 3. And Tapir now iced out in the yellow. And now we're going to go into a draw city. Not so fast. Top deck, 1 down there for Tapir, into the bow tie 2. Background cannot play off of it. Can Tapir? No, he cannot. Now a top deck light switch for Background into red. Light switches into green now does Tapir. Both trying to establish color possession here. As Background will run in the green down to the 0 sugar for Tapir. Background now down to 4. Tapir looking to get back down into single digits. And he'll do so with the green 6. Big play there by background. Stacked plus twos. Trip stack plus twos. Closes it out. Quad play with the triple plus twos. Must win game for background, and he'll now close up 4-3. One game down, two more still to win for background to mount a comeback here. I mean, Tapir, nothing you could do there in that situation with that ammo at the end. I mean, he's got you in green, he's got you in blue, he's got you in red. The only color you could have potentially iced him out in would have been the yellow. Kind of tough there with that type of a hand.
I mean, I'm not too upset at that one. The yellow into, well, I only had one yellow, so yellow into the, and then eventually, inevitably, he switches into another color and then drops the plus 12. So I'm not really that upset about that one. Felt like it was just a matter of time, but still have to win one of the next two. That's only a 0.500. You have to. I think I'm still pretty confident that I can get it done.
And background, I was going to ask you this, but it looks like you kind of preempted my question. You had that combo in your starting hand there with the plus twos. Wow. So iced out in yellow right in the immediate, trying to get to one of those three color hand. And a great finish for you there. You got two more games that you got to win. You've still got that power play available, and you've got the next homestand coming up, your final homestand of the series, trying to knot this up 4-4 and send it into a pivotal game 9. Looking here, no 9, no 12, no 14. So how are we calling the final homestand here? He's going to go back to 13. We ran 13 back in game 4. Tapir was the winner of that one. That was our longest game so far at just a tick under 9 minutes. And we'll start things off here with the Wild and... Oh. Oh, with the Unos. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Correct. Yep. Okay. So let's see. Wild start. Both going to draw off of it. And immediately we're going to light switch. Into the green. Must win game here for background to knot it up 4-4. A victory for Tapir sends him into the next round, the established 8, to face off against Toaster Guy. Light switching into the yellow. Does background. 1 up from Tapir. Background with the yellow 5. Tapir with the light switch into the plant green. Again, a reminder to everybody, this is our only streamed game here today. We do have 2 more games that will be taking place non-stream later on this afternoon. Spades region, Nam versus Brian at 2. Clubs region, Caesar versus Yoshi at 3. Look at this. Trips play with a stacked plus 2 by background. And, swapping back over into the green does Tapir. Does not ice out background as he'll find an avenue into the blue with the 9. And Tapir will bring it back to green with the Wild. Looks again for the ISO play. Background had an answer before. Does he have an answer this time? He does! Had a green skip in reserve. He'll utilize it, doubling into the blue, and now leaves it on the blue 1. Down to 2. Tapir at 14. Tapir just plays it cool here with the blue 6. Does background consider the power play here? to send it into a game 9? Or does he have a finish to keep the power play in reserve? No, he'll run the number with the blue 3. Oh, barely got the call in for Uno as well. What does Tapir do in this situation now? What does he have in his hand? What options does he have? Can he look for a light switch? Does he feel that it's an end in blue? He'll stay in the blue. And background does not have the finish. Tapir with the blue 4. Now background. Finds a top deck with the blue 2. Puts himself back at check again. Question is, does he have a 2 to close it out with number efficiency? Dittos on the play does Tapir. And background cannot finish again. So it looks like the hat can breathe a sigh of relief. It's not going to be eaten. And now Tapir iced out in blue as well. Background looking for the top deck again. Finds it. Finds the blue 3 with the top deck. Again back to check. Iced out is Tapir. Number efficiency. Does he have the 3? He does have the 3. Background finds the number efficiency on the top deck. The blue 3 to the red 3. And we are going to game 9. Background, the top decks. Crazy there. Could have used the power play to win. Decided not to. Almost ate that one. Yeah, I mean, the top decks were insane there. You find the top deck 2 to keep it in blue. Then you find the top deck 3 for the number efficiency to close it out there. That's nuts. I mean, I said it before. You kind of were giving this one away back in Game 6, and now you've won the last 2 on a high card start. You're going into Game 9 with the power play. I keep talking about the fact that this bot meta, you never know. It always seems to find a way to surprise us, and now, yeah, Game 9 coming up, you got a power play. The confidence has got to be high. On the flip side, Tapir, you know, you were confident after Game 6, had a 1 win and 3 chance, then a 1 win and 2 chance here in Game 8. Now you're going in with no power play, a power play on the other side. Is it just the bot that's kind of turning this game around? You're just not getting the hands necessary that you had in the middle portion of this series?
I mean, yeah, it was nuts. Getting that 3 off the top deck. Didn't really expect that. I'm just trying to fade that +4 from a top deck. He didn't get that, but he got what he needed. So yeah, that was a weird game. We were driving in blue for quite a long time, and I had 2s in my hand. So I'm like, there's no way he switches on a 2. And then he draws and gets the 3 and wins. So that was a weird one. But you know, I just need the bot to be on my side for Game 9. I still think we're in a good spot, even with that power.
All right, well, background showing where he could have power played there. So, yeah, could have been crucial, but ended up coming out on the winning end here in Game 8. We now send it into Game 9. Background does have the power play, but Tapir's got the homestand. Oh, no, go ahead there, Background. You're fine. Go ahead. We'll bring everybody up to speed here on what's going to be coming up here as far as the bracket and as far as the schedule as we wait for Background to take care of what he's got to take care of here. As you see, winner of this one going to be moving on into the established 8. They will take on Toaster Guy. Both of these individuals coming into this had a 4-2 victory over their respective opponents back in the Tilt 32. DJ Kurtis falling 4-2 to Tapir. Background 4-2 over the number 1 seed in Nick. We have no number 1 seeds left here in Jackpot June. The last of those yesterday eliminated with Pac Johnson. And then later on today, a couple more games coming up. There'll be non-streamed games, though, at 2 and 3 o'clock, respectively. Spade Regions, number 7 seed Nam versus number 14 seed Brian. And in the clubs region, number 5 seed Julio Cesar versus number 8 Yoshi. If I'm not mistaken, I believe these are the last 3 games to wrap up this round of 16 that will eventually have our field established for the round of 8. So we'll wait for background to get back here for this crucial game 9. If you're just joining us, you can see what we've had so far. We've yet to have a game go into the double digits in terms of time. Our longest game so far, 8 minutes and 51 seconds. Early shot out of the gate for Tapir on his homestand, but the next 2 wins to background. Tapir then won the next 3, was 1 win away from taking this series, but background's been able to win the next 2 and send this into a 4-4 tie, bringing us into a final best of 9 finale here to close out this series. And as you can see, too, it's been all over the board in terms of the card starts. We'll normally end up seeing a player or even sometimes both players be comfortable in one specific area, but we've been as low as 5. We've been as high as 14. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see here what Tapir is going to call for the final homestand here in this best of 9, as I believe, yep, we do have background back, so no longer have to wait. We're going to find out the answer to that question. Tapir, no 7, no 5, no 10, no 13. What are we looking at here for this final game in this best of 9 series? It's got to be. It's got to be. I kind of thought so. I wasn't going to try and sway with the commentary, but I kind of got the feeling. We are full sending it. 15 cards. Let's end this out the way it needs to be with the full send, highest tier start. Here we go, kicking things off with the blue 1. And we'll go 1 up here with the blue 2. So highest start here with 15. Could be a lot of ammunition out there. We probably won't see that until a little bit later on in this game. Power play still there for background, but home field advantage, the 1 card advantage here for Tapir. That is quickly erased with the double play, the reverse into the JT blue 5 by background. Tapir with the blue 4, 1 down, and then 2 up for background into the M6. Light switch over into yellow by Tapir. And background will go 1 up. High card starts, so now we're searching. We're searching in the colors. There is a ditto play from Tapir on the yellow 7. We're looking maybe for an ice out. We're looking for color establishment. Background on the aggressive, hits the +2 double play into the yellow 5, draws Tapir back even further. Tapir will play it cool though with the yellow 1. Background trying to get himself down there to a scenario where he can put a chain together. If he's got a broken link, he's got the power play. Whoa, quad play there with the skips. The yellow into the ditto red skips, ends on the DJ Kurtis 5. He's now down to 5 cards. Tapir, nothing he can do right at the moment. Plays the numbers with the red 7. Red 9 here for background, down to 4. Tapir at 11. Does he start thinking defensive here with background down to 4 cards remaining? Ditto plays on the 9. Background. At any point, we could maybe see the power play, depending on what he's got in his hands. No power play there. Plays the sand for 6. Down to 3. Tapir, 1 down with the DJ Kurtis 5. Background now at 3. Looking for 2, maybe for check, maybe for the win. Series knotted up, 4-4. Next game takes the series. and goes on to the established 8s here in the Heart region. He'll use the green Wild. And Tapir can only follow suit with the green 9. Do we see the power play here? There it is. Power play is in. Background. First appearance in the round of 16. He'll make his first appearance in the round of 8 as he will move on. The sweep in the final 3 games after being down 4-2. Background will move on. He will face off in the established 8 against Toaster Guy. It will be a 3 versus 8 seed as a 15 card full send ends in a little over 3 minutes. Background, we saw a lot of ammunition there. You utilized a couple of double plays with the +2s. You used the trip skips to get down to around the 5 mark. Was it just a matter of trying to get the number efficiency there, get enough of that green kind of squeezed out for the power play to be able to be utilized? And then Tapir, I mean, a tough one there. You had this in hand back in Game 6. Only had 1 game away from the victory. And 3 very high-tier starts here with 13, 14, 15 to close this thing out. It just kind of looked like, am I right in thinking there just was no ammo? It was just all numbers there with a 15-card start? Because even with the light switches over into different colors, it looked like you still had to just kind of follow suit in the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. Like, there's absolutely nothing at
Wow.
all there. Like, there's no wild, there's no +4, no +2, absolutely nothing. So, I look at that, and then I knew he had his power play left. I'm like, yeah, this is over. I mean, there's no way you're coming.
That
But
is...
I mean, look, those last 3 games were just brutal. I mean, I didn't really whatever ammo I Game 8 was just. It was, Game 7 was kind of percentages with trying to get 1 win out of 3, but unfortunately, he got those 3 right in a row there. So what can you point? And Background's really good player to. He's a perfect player to be able to do that. If you told me if I was going to pick anybody to sweep me 3-0 in a must-win situation, it'd probably be him or very few people. So congrats to him. I mean, that was a weird one. So yeah, good job.
Definitely a tough hand there in a 15-card start. That's brutal there. Only just the yellow reverse, maybe a little bit of number efficiency with the 8s and the 9s. But man, what do you do in that kind of situation? A must-win Game 9. That's tough. And yeah, we've all been in that scenario where you look at the hand, and you kind of just figure this one potentially is over. Background, congratulations. You're moving on for your very first time in your D1 career into the established 8. You're going up against Toaster Guy, though. So far here, though, you've been an upset. You eliminated a 1 seed back in Tilt 32, a 4 seed here in the straight 16, going up against a 3 seed in the established 8. What's the confidence level here with what you've been able to do, and now here especially getting a taste of what it's like in a best of 9 series? Scheduling will be the real challenge with Toasty. It's not even the game, it's the scheduling. Yet 11 time zones difference. Wow. Well, that one's going to be interesting for sure. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if that's going to have to be one of those early morning ones. If it is, I'll probably be on the call of it. We'll have to wait and see. But congratulations on moving on. We'll show again here it's not updated, but this was the bracket coming into this one. Background moves on. He will be facing off against Toaster Guy here in the established 8s in the Heart region. And we look forward to seeing that matchup as Background will now make his first appearance in his D1 career in the round of 8. Again, this is our only streamed game here today. And you will have 2 more games that'll be taking place non-stream later on this afternoon. The next one will kick off in just a little under an hour and a half at 2 p.m. Eastern in the Space region, as you'll have Nam taking on Brian, a 7 versus 14 seed. And then the clubs region closes out the day at 3 o'clock with Julio Cesar, number 5 seed, taking on number 8 seed Yoshi. But that is going to do it here for this morning's game. Congratulations to Background as he's going to be moving on to the established 8. And we can't wait to see who else is moving on and who our competitors will be in their respective regions in the next round here of Jackpot June. My thanks to Nam, our referee here today. I've been Seth Cole. Thanks for joining us for the continuation of the 2025 MRE Uno Tournament T4 here in Jackpot June. We'll see you for the next stream, which should be kicking off the round of 8 here in this tournament. Until then, have a great rest of your Saturday. We will see you guys next time here on the MRE Uno YouTube channel.
This has been a presentation of MRE Uno Division 1.